Imagine a candidate running for U.S. Senate who suggests that if a specific group of Americans don't get their way through politics, that group of Americans might start killing people in this country. They might start using force to get their way. The candidate raises that possibility, not apparently because they think it's a bad idea. They're not condemning that possibility. They just keep threatening that it might be true. Republican primary voters in the great state of Nevada gave the nation the privilege of no longer imagining that scenario, but rather just watching it unfold when they elected Sharon Angle as the Republican nominee to run against Harry Reid in Nevada. Greg Sargent at the Washington Post posted a clip this week of Ms. Angle on a conservative radio show in January making this threat.
You know, our founding fathers, they put that Second Amendment in there for a good reason, and that was for the people to protect themselves against a tyrannical government. In fact, you know, Thomas Jefferson said it's good for a country to have a revolution every 20 years. I hope that's not where we're going, but, you know, if this Congress keeps going the way it is, people are really looking toward those Second Amendment remedies. They're saying, my goodness, what can we do to turn this country around? And I'll tell you, the first thing we need to do is take Harry Reid out.
The Second Amendment, just as a refresher, is the right to keep and bear arms. So how does Sharon Angle mean it when she says people are looking to that right to keep and bear arms for a remedy if, quote, in her words, Congress keeps going the way it is? How does the right to keep and bear arms help with that? Then it emerged that Sharon Angle also said the same thing to the Reno Gazette-Journal just last month. She said, quote, the nation is arming. What are they arming for if it isn't that they are so distrustful of their government? They're afraid they'll have to fight for their liberty in more Second Amendment kinds of ways. That's why I look at this as almost an imperative. If we don't win at the ballot box, what will be the next step? What will be the next step, Sharon Angle? What do you mean? If you don't get what you want through politics, what does fighting for liberty in more Second Amendment kinds of ways mean? Now there's another instance that's been turned up by Sam Stein at Huffington Post. See if this sounds familiar.
I feel that the Second Amendment is the right to keep and bear arms for our citizenry. This is not for someone who's in the military. This is not for law enforcement. This is for us. And in fact, when you read the Constitution and the Founding Fathers, they intended this to stop tyranny. This is for us when our government
if we need it any
becomes
time
tyrannical.
In our history, it might be right now.
Well, it's to defend ourselves. Yeah. And, you know, I'm hoping that we're not getting to Second Amendment remedies. I hope the vote will be the cure for the Harry Reid problems.
I hope the vote will be the cure for the Harry Reid problems. But if not, then there's always the right to keep and bear arms. What is the Republican Party going to do with this? Sharon Angle is their candidate. She's not a candidate for dog catcher or polemicist or something. She is their candidate for United States Senate. Hello, Republican candidate X in statewide. Do you agree with Sharon Angle that if things don't work out in the next election, the country should expect conservatives to turn to Second Amendment remedies? What are Republicans going to do with this? Really? There is no spinning this. There's no spinning this unless you are Dick Armey. Here's his explanation for what's going on with Sharon Angle and her Second Amendment remedy prescription.
Sharon Angle talked about Second Amendment remedies to Harry Reid, and I'm wondering if that sort of language will turn off the voters that you're going to need in the general election, the mainstream voters that you're going to need to, moderate Republicans who want to support somebody like Sharon Angle, but are turned off by that kind of talk.
Yeah, well, it is a problem, and it is always a problem. People in the public arena that have a station are oftentimes going to say things that they wish they hadn't said. Lord knows I am. We all do that. You got to get past those things. Forgive yourself and move on. Maybe she shouldn't have said that. I'll bet you 5 minutes after she says, dang, I wish I hadn't said that.
Admirable spin, which might work. If Sharon Angle hadn't been making the "we'll shoot you unless you give us what we want" threats over and over and over again. You think every time she said it, she said, dang, I wish I hadn't said that? When she told the Reno Gazette-Journal she was afraid people will have to fight for their liberty in more Second Amendment kinds of ways, did she right after that say, dang, I wish I hadn't said that? And then this?
But this Congress keeps going the way it is. People are really looking toward
after she said that one, too, again, dang, I wish I hadn't said that. And then there was this one.
I'm hoping that we're not getting to Second Amendment remedies. I hope the vote will be the cure for the Harry Reid problems.
And again, dang, I wish I hadn't said that again. So far, that's the elect Sharon Engel spin. Every time she makes the same threat of Second Amendment remedies for when the politics don't work out the way you like, she's just misspeaking over and over and over again. Dang, I wish I hadn't said that. But aside from that, she'll be an awesome senator. In theory, Republicans should have a shot at taking back the Senate in November. In reality, this is what they've got. Joining us now is MSNBC political analyst and Pulitzer Prize-winning columnist Eugene Robinson. Gene, thank you very much for joining us.
Great to be here, Rachel.
Was it all a mistake? Sharon Engel didn't mean any of that?
Dang, I can't imagine that that's the case, to tell you the truth. I mean, you know, you could be sure. We have all said things that we wish we could take back, but I can't think of a lot of exactly. I can't think of a lot of things, embarrassing things that I've said 3 times in a row with such conviction and the same phrasing and this creepy formulation that she has of Second Amendment remedies, as if we're talking about a sip of a tonic or an elixir. Or you know, Mr. Carter's little liver pills or something like that. I mean, you know, you're talking about shooting people, basically. Yeah. And this is scary stuff.
They are trying at the national level to scrub her image, revamp the website. But when she said all these things that she said about getting rid of Social Security, getting rid of the Department of Education, getting rid of the EPA, considering alcohol prohibition again, and now this, at the national level, will Republicans, some of them, give up and just say, actually, Sharon Engel, just run as yourself. We can't clean you up.
Republican professional politicians meet the Tea Party, you know, and this is going to be a problem. And I think this is going to be handled kind of on a case-by-case basis. Some of these candidates probably will be able to be scrubbed up and buffed and polished and brought back closer to the mainstream. Some of them will be hopeless cases, I think, and some of them will have records of statements, of actions, of who knows what, that are so extreme that I think the Republican Party is not going to be able to stick with them.
And I think you're right on the case-by-case basis. I mean, one of the interesting things on the horizon for Sharon Engel is that she's due to speak at one of these Tea Party for-profit conventions, one of these national conventions. And you just think, if she's headlining that, it's in Las Vegas next month, how is that crowd going to receive all this talk about Second Amendment remedies and a revolution? They might want the old Sharon Engel back. They might not like it if the scrubbed Sharon Engel shows up.
Exactly. They might not like that. And so then where is she if she loses her base and she's, you know, not quite trusted by her new patrons in the Republican Party? It puts her in a very difficult and precarious position. But I think you're absolutely right. This is what that Tea Party convention is going to want to hear. They're going to want to hear about these Second Amendment remedies.
Yeah, it's amazing to me. Looking at the overall picture, I feel like we're shaping up into a November in which theoretically Republicans do have a real shot at taking back the Senate. Theoretically, when you look at these things in terms of historical patterns, Republicans should have a huge surge this year. The problem seems to be their specific candidates.
Absolutely. And the larger problem is the identity crisis that the Republican Party is going through. And we saw this developing in 2008. Republicans suffered this crushing defeat. You know, frankly, because of the economic collapse and all that has happened so far, I think the party has done better in these kind of off elections than it actually had any right to do, has done better politically than theoretically it should be doing. And eventually the party is going to have to figure out what it is, what it stands for, and more important, how it can speak to moderates, to independents, to Reagan Democrats in the future, how it can speak to Latinos in the future. I mean, there are a lot of issues with this party if it wants to be the national force that it has been. So this election, although the Republicans will do well, this is going to be phase one of a several-phase process.
MSNBC political analyst, Pulitzer Prize-winning Washington Post columnist Eugene Robinson. It's always great to see you. Thanks, Gene.
Great to be here,
have you
Rach.
here. Have you taken advantage of the awesome at-work distraction that is the 3 World Cup soccer matches available every day? So awesome, the spectacle, the drama, the whole planet sharing a peaceful experience, right? Right?
We don't want the World Cup. We don't like the World Cup. We don't like soccer. We want nothing to do with it.
Could World Cup soccer be a left-wing conspiracy? The serious answer to that ostensibly daffy question coming right up.